Hello, my friend. It's Lo. I don't know about you, but when I don't get my Saturday morning, I become a version of myself that honestly shouldn't operate heavy machinery, or I also like to say, be put in a cage. And for a long time, I told myself that was about the morning, that I was tired, overstimulated, burnt out, that I needed to work on my reactions, which is what women are very good at doing, by the way, turning every unmet need into a personal growth opportunity. But that's not what it was about. It was about feeling unseen in everything I was already carrying. And it was about the fact that I had reduced my own needs so far down that one quiet Saturday morning felt like the absolute most I could possibly ask for. Like, could I maybe potentially, if it's not too much trouble, exist alone for 2 hours? Apparently, that felt extravagant to me. And realizing that changed something. So, today we're talking about needs, resentment, motherhood, overstimulation, and why becoming low maintenance is maybe not the flex we thought it was. Welcome to Lowe's Couch. I'm Lo, and this is the space where we say the things we're actually thinking, the messy, honest, sometimes uncomfortable stuff, so you can start hearing yourself a little more clearly. No filters, no fixing, no pretending we have it all together. Just real conversations while we figure it out together. Come sit. Okay, let me set the scene. I am an introvert and a highly sensitive person, which surprises people because I can be loud, I love people, I can host, perform, hold a room, all of that jazz. But after people, even people I deeply love, my brain needs silence like plants need water. For introverts, solitude isn't just a preference, it's how our nervous system resets. Without it, everything starts to feel louder, faster, and more overwhelming. That is how I recharge. My husband Andrew does not function this way. My children definitely do not function this way. My household, generally speaking, operates at what I would describe as regional sports locker room tournament energy, whatever that is. We are talking about two boys who wake up absolutely feral and somehow maintain that energy level until bedtime. There is always a bouncing ball, even inside my house, constantly. I genuinely don't know where the balls come from anymore. I could remove every ball from this house under cover of darkness, and another one would materialize by sunrise. There are also noises. You know what I mean. Not regular child noises, prehistoric noises coming from my boys, Jurassic Park noises, baboon noises, all the freaking time. And then layered underneath that soundtrack is Mommy, Mommy, Mom, Mom, Mommy, Mama, Mom, Mom. At a frequency I'm fairly certain only dogs and exhausted mothers can hear. And I apologize for just adding to that noise. And Andrew, my sweet Andrew. I say this lovingly because this is not an expose. Andrew is warm and affectionate and chatty and wants to connect constantly, which is beautiful. It is. Also, it's a lot when your nervous system already feels like a raccoon trapped inside a garbage bin. You know what I mean. So, somewhere along the way, I started clinging to Saturday mornings, not in a cute little self care influencer way, more in a survival way. Like, if I can just drink coffee in silence for 1 hour, maybe I won't emotionally collapse in the laundry room later. And last Saturday was a moment where I realized how serious this ritual had become for me. Picture this. The house is quiet. The boys are down in the basement doing God knows what. I am in bed, drinking coffee, existing peacefully. Nobody is touching me. Nobody is asking me where their shin guards are. I can actually hear my own thoughts. And then suddenly, the bedroom door slowly opens. It was like a horror movie. And Andrew sneaks in, smiling like he's about to deliver the greatest gift of all time. Maybe, babe, I'm going to take the kids out for the day. But no, he goes, babe, I snuck away to come cuddle with you. Oh my God. Internally, I absolutely spiraled. Not externally. Externally, I was still technically a reasonable person, but inside my body, I am telling you, I felt my heart immediately start pounding. Like, I had a full physical reaction. My nervous system reacted like a Victorian woman seeing an ankle in Bridgerton. Because in my head, I was like, no, 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 as I felt myself go deeper under the covers of my bed. And the worst part of all of this is he was being so nice, so sweet. That's what made it so horrible. He thought he was doing something thoughtful and romantic. Meanwhile, my whole body was responding like, this is an intrusion, abort mission. And then I'm laying there having this internal crisis because now I have two options before 10 a.m. Option one, hurt this very kind man's feelings, or option two, minimize my own needs again. And honestly, neither felt great. Because this is the part nobody tells you about long term relationships or motherhood or constantly being needed. Sometimes the thing you need most is to not be needed at all. And that realization hits hard because I realized this was never about Andrew. It wasn't about cuddling. It was about how disconnected I had become from my own capacity limits. And the problem was, I treated this 1 hour of a Saturday morning like it was unreasonable, like needing solitude made me difficult. And I think a lot of women do this. We become easy, flexible, low maintenance. We pride ourselves on how little we actually need. Meanwhile, internally, we're one interrupted bathroom trip away from a full nervous breakdown. What finally hit me was this: Saturday morning wasn't the issue, it was the only place my needs were allowed to exist. That was the problem. Because when your needs only get acknowledged in tiny scraps, those scraps start carrying way too much emotional weight. And then if you lose that scrap, like I was just about to lose my Saturday morning, you lose your mind over what looks like something small. But it's never about the small thing. It's about the accumulation. It's about constantly accommodating everyone else while slowly disappearing yourself. There's actually a term for this, and it's going around a lot on Instagram: the mental load. It's not just the doing, it's the remembering, the anticipating, the managing. Research constantly shows that women carry the majority of that cognitive and emotional labor, even when both partners work full time. So, if you've ever felt exhausted in a way you could not explain, that is probably why. I think a lot of us don't pick up on this at first because we're so conditioned to call this normal. We celebrate self sacrifice constantly. Oh, the mom who never sits down, the woman who does it all, the partner who asks for nothing. And for a while, I genuinely thought all of that made me good. But psychologically, suppressing needs doesn't remove them. It just delays them until they come out as resentment, which is exactly what was happening to me as I was laying in that bed with my husband saying, I'm coming for a cuddle. I was quietly becoming resentful over things he didn't even know I needed because I wasn't saying them out loud, which, and this is humbling, is actually not very fair to him or others because people cannot honor needs they do not know exist. Unspoken needs don't get met, they just get stored. And that's uncomfortable because it meant I had participated in my own invisibility, not intentionally, not dramatically, just slowly, quietly, tiny accommodations, tiny silences, tiny it's fine moments. Until suddenly one peaceful Saturday morning felt like access to oxygen was being denied. So now I'm learning something that sounds extremely obvious and yet has been surprisingly hard for me. So I'm hoping it's also been surprisingly hard for you too. Or maybe not. But needing things does not make me needy. Wanting rest does not make me lazy. Wanting space does not make me unloving. And asking for support does not make me difficult. It makes me human. And honestly, I think there are a lot of women listening right now who are carrying way more than people realize because they have become incredibly skilled at carrying it quietly. You've become the I got it person, the anticipator, the smoother over, the emotional logistics coordinator of the household. And it's all so impressive, but it's also all so exhausting. So lately, I've been trying to practice saying things before I hit resentment, before the explosion, before the shutdown, before the why is everyone touching me phase of the evening. And it's awkward sometimes because when you've spent years minimizing your needs, even normal requests feel selfish at first. Like, Hi, yes, I would love 30 consecutive minutes where nobody asks me where their dang water bottle is. Revolutionary. But the truth is, the people who love us actually want to know us. Remember that. The people who love us actually want to know us, not just benefit from us functioning smoothly all the time. And to add another layer, I don't want my boys growing up thinking women exist purely in service to everyone else. I want them to see a woman who has needs and honors them, communicates them, and still loves deeply, maybe even better because of it. So if you've been feeling irrationally emotional about tiny things lately, maybe it's not the tiny thing. Maybe it's the weight of all the things underneath it. Maybe there's a need you've been minimizing for so long that your body is basically waving a tiny white flag. And maybe your life does not actually fall apart when you finally say, hey, I need something too. So, what option did I go with? Did I quietly minimize my own needs again to keep the peace before 10 a.m.? Nope. I actually hurt this very kind man's feelings. And truthfully, I know I didn't communicate it the best way either because I was already overstimulated and internally spiraling. And I remember saying, after letting the resentment just boil up inside of me as he's laying beside me, babe, I need my mornings. This is not funny to me. I need this time. Please go away. And he looked so hurt because I just wanted that time in bed by myself. He was like, "I'm not doing anything. I'm not saying anything. I'm not talking." And I was like, "I just want alone time." And it did hurt him. And I did say it very intensely. And I think part of why it came out so intensely is because I had waited way too long to say it clearly. Because every few months, Andrew genuinely needs a reminder of how important this is to me. And not because he doesn't care, not because he's selfish, but because he does not operate like me. He recharges through connection. I recharge through solitude. We are polar opposites in that way. Neither one is wrong. But if I keep expecting him to magically understand a need I'm quietly minimizing, that's not really fair to him either. And truthfully, that conversation was uncomfortable for him and for me. There's something deeply unpleasant about hurting the feelings of a man who just wanted to cuddle me before breakfast. Like, wow, I felt like a villain in my story. But I also think this is part of real relationships that nobody talks about enough. Sometimes loving each other well means learning each other's nervous systems, not just each other's personalities. And for me, being loved well sometimes looks like being left gloriously alone with my coffee for an hour. And the funny thing is, once Andrew and I actually talked about it honestly, the tension disappeared way faster than when I just silently sat there feeling resentful. Because clarity is kinder than resentment, even when it's awkward before the caffeine has hit. It turns out I didn't need a silent cabin in the woods or a cage. I just needed to believe my needs mattered as much as everyone else's. Although, to be fair, less bouncing ball energy would still help. So, I want to say thank you for sitting on the couch with me today. If this episode resonated, send it to another woman who's been calling herself low maintenance while you know she's internally running on fumes. And if you are the woman who hasn't said the thing yet, whatever the thing is, that is what we do here. Subscribe, come back next week, and we'll keep working on it together. I will see you then. Thanks for sitting with me.